The Virginia grape that I gravitate towards more so than any other is going to be the Cab Franc. Cab Franc obviously is more known for blending with Cab Sauv, but for some reason the Virginia Cab Franc to me is just delicious all on its own.
Hey guys, welcome to The Swirl Suite. My name is Sarita. You can follow me at Find Me Up on all social media. You can follow The Swirl Suite on all social media as well. And you can follow our podcast episodes wherever you find your podcast. So yesterday we had some technical difficulties. So this episode is chopped up just a little bit, but I think it'll turn out okay. We talked with Stacey, aka VAWineKnow on Instagram. And she schools us down about Virginia wine. Take a listen.
Hey, I'm Stacey. My name is Stacey Brooks, and I go by VAWineKnow or Virginia WineKnow, and that's spelled Know. So VAWineKnow on Instagram and Twitter, and my blog is virginiawineknow.com. I'm a marketer by day. I've been in IT marketing and nonprofit marketing for about 20 years now. But over time, I've grown a strong passion for wine. And so wine is not only my hobby, but it is a true passion for me.
I asked Stacey, what made her start writing about wine? Because wine is something that you can just sit back and enjoy, but what took it to the next level?
So what inspired me to write about wine and Virginia wine in particular? Well, what got me into the industry was because about 20 years ago, my first job out of college really was planning the Virginia Wine Festival. So I planned that for 3 years straight, and that I was very young at the time, but it really introduced me to the Virginia wine scene and how it was growing. There were only not even 100 wineries at the time, so it was very small, but I knew this was an exciting area, and it just really piqued my interest. And I fell in love with some of the wines, and I started exploring wines way back then, but it really wouldn't become a passion for me until about, I say, like 10 years later. So about 10 years ago, I just found that I was spending much of my spare time outside of work at the wineries. Would venture to the various Virginia wineries, check out the scenery. Virginia's so beautiful. There's so many different wineries in different locations, like on the water or on mountains, and looking over valleys. It's just the ambiance of many of the Virginia wineries are just really spectacular. So I really fell in love with that as I started visiting more. And so I just decided to start blogging about it because I was meeting so many interesting people. The experiences were really what I wanted to capture. And that's the whole thing around my blog and my social media. It's all about the experience that wine brings. Brings people together, brings good conversation.
So then I asked Stacey, what are her 3 top favorite Virginia wineries and why?
So what are my 3 favorite Virginia wineries and why? I'm going to stick with Northern Virginia area just because I have so many favorites all over the state. It would be hard for me to pick a top 3, but because I reside in Northern Virginia, this is where I am most of the time when I'm out on the wine trail. My top 3, I'm going to say are, my first is Casanel. Casanel is a small family-owned vineyard in Leesburg. And they have a female winemaker, which, girl power, I'm very excited about. They make wonderful wines. I mean, just top notch. They do a sparkling red from the Norton grape, which is the Virginia native grape. They just came out with a new sparkling white on Sunday, which I have yet to try. Plan on making it out there this weekend to try that. So that would be my number 1. My other favorite Virginia winery is going to be Crush Cellars. So that's in Purcellville, Virginia. It is very small. It's like a dairy farmer owns it. His name is Bob. If you go there, you're going to have an amazing time, and you're going to leave with groceries for the week. So I try to go on Sundays, and I get my eggs, I get my meats, cheeses, and of course my wine. It's a fun atmosphere. It's almost like being at like your neighborhood Cheers bar or something, but you're literally on like a dairy farm, and there's chickens running around. His wines are very, very good, and he's just a great personality. And again, going back to the experience, you're going to have a wonderful experience going to Crush Cellars, so I always recommend it. It is small, though, very small, so make sure you try to go on an off hour. I usually go on Sundays. And then my other favorite is going to be Fabioli. Fabioli Winery in Leesburg, technically it's in, is just amazing. I'm sure many people out there have heard of Fabioli and Doug Fabioli. He's one of like been on the forefront of Virginia wines for a very, very long time. He actually consults with the city winery in D.C., and he was one of the first Virginia winemakers to get their wine imported into D.C. He may actually be the only, but he makes wonderful wines. It's also a cidery, too. They opened that up recently. And they're going to have very unique wine and food pairing tastings. And it's very inexpensive, $12. And you get a wonderful plate of food, little snacks and bites to go along with the delicious wine. But like I said, I have so many other favorites across the state. There's so many great ones in Charlottesville. That's a wonderful region for wine. Blenheim is a real fun one. It's owned by Dave Matthews of Dave Matthews Band. And there's so many, but that's probably my favorite in the Charlottesville region. And then in Central Virginia, I have another favorite. It's called Chateau Maryland. Again, small, family-owned, but they make really, really good wines. They tapped one of Virginia's most popular winemakers for their wines, which I don't know how they did that, being such a small spot. But because I'm sure that he's expensive. But I think that was more than 3. But it gives you an idea of the wineries that I love throughout the state.
So this is where I asked Stacey about wine tourism. Her story reminds me a lot of our Vino 301, Leslie Freelow, and Maryland wine. And I asked her, had she ever thought about Virginia wine tourism?
You know, one question that people ask me all the time is, why don't I get into wine, or have I ever thought about wine tourism? And yes, I have. And I'm still actually trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. So wine is definitely on the horizon for me. I don't know in what fashion. I did go and get my level 1 sommelier certificate. I wanted to have some credentials behind me, and I want to keep studying, but more so, I want to get more involved with the Virginia wine scene. I am very involved now, but I just want to be able to do more. So I look forward to doing that in the coming years and seeing what happens, seeing if hopefully I can migrate or transition into a more serious wine career versus the hobby that I got going on now. But it's so much fun.
Here I asked Stacey, what grape in Virginia does she gravitate towards the most?
The Virginia grape that I gravitate towards more so than any other is going to be the Cab Franc. Cab Franc obviously is more known for blending with Cab Sauves, but for some reason, the Virginia Cab Franc to me is just delicious all on its own. A lot of the Virginia wineries make this really good. There are some maybe not so good, but they really seem to perfect this. Our soil just seems to work for that grape. I love like the grittiness of wine. I love to actually taste the earthiness of it. The green pepper notes, which a lot of people maybe don't enjoy, I love. And the Cab Franc from Virginia has all of that. So that would be my favorite Virginia grape.
All right, so now we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. Glennis, Tanisha, and I talk with Stacy about Virginia wine, and then we ask her our random and not so rapid questions. So, where the conversation is picking up at, I posted an article on Instagram this week about a guy who sells wine in London. And he said, in order to sell wine, you have to sell people more of an experience. And here are our thoughts. Yeah, others agreed, and then others didn't. So, how much, if you were to give it a percentage out of 100%, how much of the lifestyle do you need somebody to give you, and then how much of like the wine education behind the winemaking do you need when you go to a winery, or does it depend on who you're with and where you are?
That I think it's different to ask us,
right?
Wine professionals, or just having more knowledge and more of an interest in the industry itself. We're not drinkers. I think if you talk to a casual drinker, that most of them will say the lifestyle. Because like I agreed with the person who wrote the article, and I wrote this on your Instagram. When it comes to spirits, no one is telling you where these grains came from, and no one says like, "Oh, we picked these wheat from a field in of Egypt." Like no one cares. They are showing you people at a party, them stepping off of a private jet, going to the club, hanging out with friends. They are selling you a lifestyle when it comes to spirits. That's what people drink. And I feel like wine marketing is, I won't say light years behind, but maybe like a decade behind what people actually want and how to market to people. Because I feel like they're still marketing the story, the wines, and that's only for people who are in the industry. I feel like wine people still, to this day, talk to each other and not to the consumer.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot to say that I'm drinking.
No, and I'm not.
I'm drinking Norton from Horton.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Cool. So this is their Tower series. I don't really know what that means. I haven't been to Horton in a very long time.
I haven't been either in a while. So.
Is that the one they used to do? They do the fruit flavored wines too. Is that?
I saw those. They had a whole shelf full of them.
Yeah. Okay, that's Horton. They used to do all the.
Yeah.
But I like it. I haven't had the Norton grape in a very long time, so I wasn't even sure how I was going to feel about it. But it's actually not bad.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they do a pretty good job.
Virginia does. I said it's an interesting grape. Virginia does well with it, and so does I think it's Missouri where I heard it from.
Yeah, I've had that one too.
Yeah. So.
We had some wines. Was that when we went to the Smithsonian? Were they from Missouri?
Oh, they were. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now to the next topic.
You know. You have to start from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you know what we used to say about, no shade. We used to say about Virginia wines. You know what we used to say about Maryland wines.
Yeah. They both come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More consumer support, more government support first, because that's get better.
Yeah.
Our problem, what we always used to say when the wineries start, and all 50 states make it now, but a lot of places weren't consistent from year to year. That wine was so completely different.
Yeah.
And you'd recommend it one year and be like, "Oh my God, this is so good, y'all got to taste it." To the wine festival, tell my friends to taste it, and then they taste it, like, "Okay, you're probably just trash."
Right.
I'm like, "What?" And then I taste it, and like, "Oh, my bad. You okay?" All right. So I had to stop being able to recommend stuff because I'm like, I don't know what it's gonna taste like next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's a lot of trial and error. You don't know what it will taste. And one thing that Virginia was able to do is stop. They started really growing what works best on their soil, and not just like, all right, we're Chardonnay and Shiraz and Merlot because that's what people know. They were like, no, we grow Cabernet Franc really well. We do Gay really well.
Yeah.
We do Petit Verdot and Norton grape. So they started with those things. Once you figure out what grows on your soil in your area, because what grows well in Northern Virginia is different than Eastern Virginia.
Yeah.
Central Virginia. So once they figured that out, and then we're able to do that.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of government help.
A lot more than Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of government.
A lot of support.
Kind of step it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Maryland's on its way, though. I support Maryland since that's actually where I got into wine. So.
Oh.
So Stacey, what grape are you drinking? You mentioned the winery, but what grape are you drinking?
This is a blend. It's called 1734. It's just like a blend. I think it's like the Cab Franc and Cab Sauv. I think that's actually what it is. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's very good.
Is there a specific like maybe style or grape that you kind of lean more towards from Virginia?
Yeah, I actually prefer the Cab Franc. I think they do an amazing job here. I've been to some like winemaker events where you help blend the wines and that sort of thing and make wines. And I always like end up with just a Cab Franc. Like we're doing all this blending, and then at the end of the day, I'm just like, I think I just got just on its own. I'm definitely more of a, I like the earthy tones of wine. I like to taste the, like the grittiness. And to me, the Cab Francs, especially from Virginia, kind of have those notes. So that's my favorite.
Yay. Awesome. Well, if there are no more formal questions for Stacey, we can move on to the other part of our show. Any more questions for Stacey, guys, about Virginia wine?
Have you been to James Charles, Stacey? James Charles Winery?
I have, but it's been a long time. Yes. And I think it was only once.
Their wines were pretty good, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
For me, anyway.
Yeah.
Of Virginia wines, and as the other ladies have said, they've come a long way. So but James Charles was one of the few wineries that I went to, and I was like, this is actually pretty good. I'll take another.
Cletus, was that the winery you went to the white party for?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
I had never had their wine.
Their wines are phenomenal. I was totally surprised.
I'm gonna have to get there soon. I haven't been in so long.
But it's funny because that was a couple of years ago, and like Tanisha said, y'all go up here in a couple of months and be like, she recommended this?
Right. Like,
yeah, and you're right. The consistency just hasn't been there. I mean, even like with talking about Tarara being my first, it's been 25 years. So, I mean, they've had their bad years and good years, in my opinion. I mean, everybody's, got their own opinions about wine. But, there have been some times I've gone there and it was just like so bad. I didn't go back for another 5 years. Wow. So, and actually when I was at the farmer's market on Sunday tasting, they have a new line and they were really good. So I'm like, okay, now I got to get back there again. I haven't been probably in 2 years. So, but yeah, we have, I think a long way to go with the consistency, but there are some doing very well. So.
And that makes sense with the issue of consistency. Because if you think about it, when people compare it to France and Italy, okay, they've literally been making wines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, the beginning of time.
The 70s, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that's California was making it in the 70s.
Yeah.
So for people that are we've been making wine 10 years. No, you just figured
right.
Got your vines to grow straight. So
yeah.
That's your cellar wine.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's something that they'll probably look back on in 50 years,
Mm-hmm.
They'll be around to say, oh my gosh, remember when we made this wine back in 2015? Oh my God, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But they say if you look back on your first offering, first service, first product, and you're not embarrassed, you launched it too late. Yeah. So that's something that they can definitely look back and say, all right, we did it, we tried it.
Right.
And then we perfected it. You have to have something to build on. So
nice.
Yep, I have a short story. So when I was at when I was in Cancun at the My Taught You retreat, Yvonne Orangey, she was telling one of her stories, and she said that when she booked Insecure, she had to audition 5 times. And she said that, they kept bringing me back because, my competition was good, but they were at their peak during their first audition. And she said they kept bringing me back because I kept taking their notes and getting better and better and better. So while you think your competition is good, you still can grow and get better. But you can't look around you. You just have to watch yourself, and you have to grow yourself. And next thing you know, she booked Insecure, and I thought that was crazy.
The story, yeah. And also, sometimes trips people up looking at the competition, trying to see what they're doing instead of just head down. Like when you think about horses race, they had the blinders on. Sometimes you just gotta have your blinders on and just focus on, this is my lane. Let me run this race as fast as I can, as best as I can, and I worry about what these other people are doing right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so
that's true.
Right.
All right. So we are about to do our random and not so rapid questions to get to know you a little bit better. These are pretty much for everybody. Everybody can answer.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. What is your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich is just a big fat Italian deli sub with all the salami and pastrami and prosciutto and provolone you can imagine, with lots of oil and vinegar.
Yum.
Tanisha?
This is hard because I have favorite sandwiches in different places. So my favorite sandwich here would probably be a croque madame, which is the with the toasted bread and the cheese on top. Madame has the egg. If I am in the States, I love
a what?
A what?
A patty melt.
Patty melt. Yeah.
So clearly melted cheese is a thing for me.
And wait, so remind me, I didn't know Black people eat patty melts. So that's what is that?
It's like a hamburger patty, right? Just with
melted cheese. Yeah. This is just
What is the patty? Is it it's not fried, or is it like a burger?
It's like a hamburger. Yeah.
Oh.
It's just kind of thin and
Okay.
Yeah, a whole bunch of butter on the bread to toast it, and then sauteed onions till they're golden brown.
Okay.
Cheese is melted on it.
Okay.
Or if I'm in Chicago, a hoagie from the hoagie place.
Okay.
Gotcha. Glennis, what about you?
Oh my God, this is so hard. Actually, no. Stephanie kind of stole my thunder. I love a nice cold turkey sandwich from a nice, authentic deli.
Yes.
Being from Jersey, it has to be an Italian hard roll. The bread makes the whole difference in the sandwich.
Yes.
I needed an Italian hard roll with oil and vinegar already mixed up. So it gives you that good oil and vinegar mixture. The shredded lettuce. The lettuce. Can't have a whole piece of lettuce you bite it and slide off. That's not going to work. You got to know how to make the sandwich.
Yes.
Turkey, lettuce, tomato, and Italian seasoning on top. That's the best thing. Outside of White Castle hamburgers, that's another whole. So that's the sandwich I'm going with.
So I forgot where I was, but I was at a little deli. It's in DC downtown somewhere, and you got to walk down some stairs to get in. It's very hole in the wall, but so they roast their own turkey and put it on a toasted sub, and then they add broccoli rabe on top, and then I think some cheese. But that was the best combination.
Yum.
Oh my God, it was so good, so good. Yeah. So that's my sandwich. That's it.
I have to try that.
All right. So I guess this is for you, Stacey. What is your favorite wine bar in Virginia?
So my favorite is going to be one that's here in Reston, Virginia. So I'm from Reston, Virginia. I grew up, it's a very small town, about 30 miles outside of DC, close to Dallas Airport. It's not such a small town anymore. It's kind of boomed, but anyhow, there's this kind of old historic area called Lake Ann, and there's a wine bar there. It's called the Lake Ann Coffee House and Wine Bar, and that's my favorite right now. They have a lot of wines that aren't really in many stores or anything. It's just a lot of different wines from like small production, and it's right on the lake. So you sit on the lake, you have your wine, and sometimes sometimes I'll get there early, I'll have coffee, and then I move to wine and have some, cheese or something and just sit there on the lake. So that's my favorite spot.
Oh, that's nice. That sounds very relaxing.
Love it again.
It's called the Lake Ann Coffee House and Wine Bar. It's, independently owned, small little wine bar here in Reston, Virginia.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. So, summertime is pretty much here. If an ice cream truck rolled up outside right now, what would you get?
I know. That's easy.
I would get a toasted almond.
Ah, okay.
That's my favorite, my go-to.
Okay. Glennis, since you know, you go.
Push-up creamsicle.
A push-up creamsicle. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
It's creamsicle. You push up, or
and it would make like a mess.
I love it.
Those used to be so bad.
Like all over here.
Because you always push up too much.
Yeah.
It'd be all over the
Push
place.
it a little, you be like, oh, I got it.
Right.
And they have that same type of ice cream creamsicle flavor with the one with the bubble gum on the bottom.
Oh.
It's a cone shape
Oh,
and has the
yeah.
bubble gum.
Yeah.
Same flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of those.
Okay. Tanisha.
Strawberry shortcake.
Oh, okay.
And I don't even usually like strawberry things in life.
Yeah.
Like strawberry is my go-to, but there's something about that shortcake. Or anything with a chocolate coat, because I'll eat the chocolate all first and then the ice cream on the inside. So, yeah.
Okay.
If it's like the chocolate and like the nuts on the ice cream with the stick, that.
But, drumstick.
So not the drumstick, because that comes in the cone, I think.
Yeah, it
but
does.
With other ice cream thing that's on the stick with chocolate around it.
Got it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Those two, because everybody don't have a strawberry shortcake. So if my ice cream truck
Right.
have that, and I gotta do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a bomb pop.
Yeah.
Do y'all say bomb pop, right? Because I'm not sure. I can't tell when some things are DC. And do y'all have? Did y'all have like the? Did they call them wrap chips? They had the little wrap person on the bag, and it was like barbecue and no.
I've heard of these. I've seen them.
No, that would probably be DC because never heard of that.
Yeah. But
I've never heard of that either.
Wrap chips.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, it was very black. Very black. Anyway. Sweet and salty, yeah. So those would be my two. All right, next question. If you were a rap artist, what would be your name? And Stacey, we've met twice in music venues. So
yes, you're right.
That's why I asked you this question. What would be your rap name?
I think I was thinking about that. I think it was gonna be either like B Love, like Moni Love, but B Love because I'm Stacey B, or like Stacey B Love, something like that. I think it has to have like love in it, because that's just kind of how I am, just like love kind of person. So that's what I was thinking, like Stacey B Love or MC B Love. That probably sounds better. MC B Love.
I like
that's it. That's it.
Glenn and Tanisha, do y'all have rap names?
Girl, I can't rap.
Can't rap.
That ain't my
It would
guess.
be G Money.
I like G Money.
201 like that'd be me. You
Are you a hype
You be
person?
the hype woman.
You gotta have a hype woman.
It would be G Money because that's what people call me. In.
That's good.
That fits.
Money.
G Money.
G Money.
That definitely
I'm
fits.
tagging all posts G Money.
You know what? You can't say stuff around. There she go.
She'll write it out.
Yep. I'm gonna tell it.
Okay. Okay, so this question is for.
Sorry.
Slow down.
Oh yeah.
Answer.
What's your rap name?
So, I've always liked the word terse, like abrupt.
Because why? I wonder why, ma'am.
Because I'm short in stature and I'm pretty abrupt. I don't talk much. So I think I would be DJ Terse. On the
I like it. Oh, the DJ, yeah.
I would DJ it. Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be a rapper. Yeah, I'd just be a DJ. Yeah.
Even though we're all gonna call you Lil Mama, but that's fine.
Oh my God.
And she hates that.
Oh God.
That's exactly why I said it. Literally why I said it. DJ Lil Mama first.
Oh my God.
There you go.
And it all together.
Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry.
DJ Mama Terse.
Stop.
I'm apologizing for her.
Okay. How do you like your rosés? Do you like them dark and rich or light and refreshing?
Oh, wow.
That's hard.
What day is
it?
Exactly.
Yeah, it depends on the day. It really does.
Wow, yeah.
Only thing I can say consistently about mine is I like them bone dry.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, agreed. Me too.
Vary, but bone dry.
I agree 100%
Yep.
with that.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that'll be a consensus. I agree. Bone dry.
Yep.
Bone dry. I think it's interesting because around here, there has only been one place that I found that had a decent darker hue rosé, and they don't. The establishment is not even in business anymore, and they would have it at happy hour, and it was just like, okay, I'll take that for $5, Alex. Yeah, right here. That works. But for the most part, most of the rosés that I've encountered in this area that are just, have been more of a lighter hue. Yeah. Not the dark, rich. And it's funny because you see a dark rosé and people are like, no, that's a red wine. Nope. It clearly says rosé on the bottom.
Yeah.
A rosé is just, they left the skins in a little longer than most. That's what happened.
Yep.
So.
Love it. All right, last question. What celebrity are you crushing on right now?
That's easy. My all-time favorite number one crush is Common. Always has been, always will be. That's my husband. What?
Tanisha is originally from Chicago, so.
Why are you shaking your head?
Stop it. Wait, church lady hand wave.
Right.
The church lady hand wave with the mind going somewhere else. Not good.
No, the mind. See, here's the thing about him though. Like my mind doesn't go in those places initially. So he, that's a little.
That's not initially and. Right after initially. What are we talking about?
Okay, so not right after, because right after
okay.
Secondly. But fourthly, perhaps. After he has, said a few words to me, I heard that voice. He rhymed a couple of lines out, and I'm like, yeah.
As we go like this.
I was about to say, as we Shirley Murdoch said it better. All right. Oh, wow.
All right, so who are y'all? Glennis and Tanisha.
Well, right now, I don't know. Buju Banton is just, I've been crushing on him since he's been out and doing his thing and just being the lion that he is. It's just like, do it, Buju. Just crushing on.
Yeah.
On the message that he's putting out, and he has it, the establishment hasn't taken him down. He is still out here doing his dance hall thing. I'm just loving Buju. Loving Buju. He is truly a champion. Walk like a champion.
Don't get her started. She will get her phone. Oh, God.
Put it on. I will put it on.
Glennis is gone.
All right, Tanisha, what about you?
Mine hasn't changed. It's still the same few guys that I look at on TV. So,
Are you going to say?
Not new information, but I love Leroy's from Chicago PD.
So, okay.
Leroy's Hawkins.
Okay. So for me, I watched Widows on the plane.
Oh, that was really good.
Viola Davis and Daniel Kaluuya is on there. I don't know if that's how you say his last name. I always mess it up.
Oh, you mean the guy from the
Get Out? The guy from Get Out with the
Get
eyes.
Out.
Oh yeah.
And he was a villain, and he was such a good villain. I don't know, it did something like I see you.
Wow.
I see what you're doing right there. I like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So he's my most recent crush. Yeah.
Cool.
Love it.
Wow.
So Stacey, before we go, please tell everybody once more where they can follow you on social media.
Oh, sure. So I am at VAWineKnow, and that's KNOW. That's Instagram and Twitter, and my website is VirginiaWineKnow, all spelled out, .com. So that's where folks can find me, and I'm usually on the trail. I do a Sip With Me Sunday series where I go out Sundays a couple of times a month and feature wineries and share experiences and stories usually I'm on Instagram. So that's where folks can find me.
Awesome. Do you have any events or anything coming up?
Right now,
I don't have anything coming up right now, but I am working on a wine event. As Sarita knows, I do have a charity that I run on the side of everything else in life, and we do wine tasting fundraisers. So we just had one a couple weeks ago. We'll have another one in the fall at every winery. So get posted on that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining this Road Speed. This was so fun.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. I hope you guys will have me back.
Of course.
Good times.
Just followed you, so great.
Thank you.
Yay.
Awesome. Well, cheers, guys. Happy Wine Wednesday.
Cheers. Bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Woo, Mama, we made it. Made it through the episode. That was a close one, y'all. My God. Okay, so thank you for joining the Swirl Suite. Don't forget that we are recording 2 live shows at the Essence Fest in July. Follow the Hue Society, follow the Black Wine Experience for information and tickets. The more we know, the more we'll share. But we are getting close to that time where more details are coming out. So stay tuned and follow the podcast, like, subscribe. Leave a comment. Let us know on Instagram how you like the episodes. And if you have any suggestions, guests, topics, let us know. Cheers.